Good evening. This is our news bulletin for tonight. Cyclone Winston leaves a path of destruction in Tonga and especially Fiji, while communities in Niue have plans to raise funds to assist with recovery efforts. An online portal launched to make applications for New Zealand scholarships easier. A new business in Mutalo opens as a retreat for relaxation. It is the result of years of saving and a bit of vision. The Statistics Division have released travelling statistics figures for the final quarter of 2015. Round 2 for the men's cricket season had some interesting results despite the rain. Cyclone Winston has left a path of destruction in its wake as it swept through Tonga and Fiji last week. The Category 5 cyclone narrowly missed Niue, leaving little destruction compared to the devastation that was left behind in Fiji a few days ago. There are currently 3 Niuean students studying in Fiji at the University of the South Pacific campus, but the Niue Disaster Council has confirmed that all 3 students are safe. They were not affected by Winston and are continuing with their studies. The number of casualties in Fiji has totaled 28, but that number is expected to increase as assessment teams head out to remote areas where communications have been affected to identify the severity of damage. More than 14,000 people are currently occupying the 274 evacuation centers around Fiji. 1 person remains missing and many more are homeless. Fiji is in a 30-day state of emergency, with government officials sending out teams to gauge how widespread the damage is. Homes, crops and plantations have been lost, and safe drinking water has been affected due to damage caused by the cyclone. The Fiji government has also reached out to donors for help and have since acquired assistance from the governments of China, New Zealand, Australia, Europe, who have sent assistance of food, clothing, medicine and safe drinking water for the people of Fiji. According to the president of the Fijian community here on island, Rambruka Randrole, their community have plans to send relief aid back home, but they have yet to confirm any details until they have had their meeting. The Tongan community are also still in discussions about what type of assistance they can provide for their people in this time of need. Cyclone Winston has been reported to be the worst and strongest cyclone in the southern hemisphere and serves as a reminder for communities to be alert and prepared at all times throughout this cyclone season. Niue has received scholarships that have enabled people to further their education, and the application process could be just that bit easier now that it is online. The New Zealand Aid Program offers several different types of scholarships, but eligibility depends on which country you come from. The New Zealand High Commission has been the administrator of the New Zealand Pacific and Regional Development Scholarships as well as the Short-Term Training Award since 2012. Since then, there have been 32 successful applicants who have received scholarship support, with about 44% successfully completing their course of study so far. According to the New Zealand High Commission, about 30% of their students have returned home to work, with about 14% in New Zealand due to medical reasons, and the remaining 35% are currently on awards, looking to complete studies in the next few years. Part of the agreement is that once studies are completed, the person agrees to return to Niue to work for a minimum of 2 years. The online portal has been open since the 1st of February, and applications will close on the 30th of April. There is a new business on the northern side of the island that offers relaxation and somewhere to retreat from the hustle and bustle of life. Humu Island Retreat, located about 25 minutes away from town in the village of Mutalo, opened its doors for service last year and is becoming one of the popular places on the island. The new motel-type retreat is the brainchild of Saluma Ioane Hunt, whom after years of living and working in New Zealand and travelling to faraway corners of the world, packed up and moved back to Niue a few years ago and found sunny Niue definitely where she wants to be, and the idea to build a retreat-style accommodation appealed to her as she enjoyed being a self-sufficient business owner with the skills to match and realize her dream. The business venture is hers, but she also likes to contribute to the community of Mutalo, where she was born and spent her early childhood years.
Niue has always been in my heart, in my mind, so it was only natural that I would come back and do something like this. I never thought that I would come back and do something as big as this, but I'm glad that I'm here. It's been over 30 years of working hard in New Zealand and around the world, learning and saving to be able to get here. It takes a lot to be able to get here. A lot of saving, a lot of planning ahead. You have to be visionary about where you want your life to go.
Despite challenges, Mrs. Ioane Hunt ventured into Niue's unknown business landscape from her own backyard, and the name of her business is something much closer to her heart. Humu Island Retreat is now fully operational. However, Saluma is not the type of person who would sit around. She was always mindful of what can be done or needed to be done to better her community. Her upbringing plus her years travelling the world has equipped her well to adapt to any situation she may come across over here in Niue.
I wanted it to be a little faster than this, but as you know, things don't always go to plan. So you have to plan for circumstances like this, but you have to take it with, with a bit of fun, enjoy the journey, and not try to hurry things and get frustrated by it. My ultimate goal is to cater for our tourists coming to Niue, and for them to have something different to go to and have a place to stop and have a break, a cup of tea, something to eat while they're exploring the island, because it's a little bit hard to go around Niue at the moment. You have to rush back to Alofi and get something to eat, but if people can stop and just relax while they go around the island, explore a few more tracks that are not well known, that would be quite good. The master plan is I'm going to have a retreat, which means that, you can't have a retreat without having a place where people can go and pamper themselves and, just wind down for a bit. So we're offering a spa facility as well, and that includes a massage and a spa pool for people to just relax first before they do or go into therapy, and just have a cup of tea when they finish.
Mrs. Hunt's sharp business acumen has proved that anyone, especially those returning to their homeland, can bring their skills accumulated after years offshore and put it into practice in Niue. Statistics Niue has released travelling statistics for the last quarter of 2015 that shows a net migration of minus 260. Travelling residents and visitors is one of the factors, or the crucial factor, that affects the population number of Niue, which means the movements of net migration directly increases the population, by the same if it's a net gain, or decreases by the same if it's a net loss. For the period from the 1st of October to the 31st of December 2015, there was a total of 2,292 arrivals and 2,552 departures. From the number of arrivals, 1,911 were visitors, 699 Niuean and 1,212 non-Niueans, and 6 visitors indicated they wanted to become residents, and a total of returning residents of 379. In addition, there was also 2,483 excursionists, those who arrived on cruise ships who were on island for less than 24 hours. For the departures, 441 were departing residents, and 11 of those residents indicated they were leaving permanently. The total returning visitors was 2,895. From October to December last year, there were a total of 21 flights, 19 operated by Air New Zealand and 2 military aircrafts. There were no yachts recorded, but there were 5 cruise ships that called into Niue. However, looking into the figures with a bit more depth at the end of the quarter, a grand total of 4,775 travellers arrived into Niue, 2,292 from aircrafts plus the 2,483 from cruise ships. The net migration of 260 persons was made up of a net loss of 284 residents and a slight net gain of 24 returning visitors. The cyclone weather Niue experienced last week continued on to Saturday, and that meant that some villagers did not get to finish their cricket games because of the rain. While some villagers managed to finish their games in the allocated time, some had to abandon theirs. Villagers whose games were called off then had to share the points, while one team had yet to sign off the game documents declaring a draw. This, according to that village, was refused and will be resolved at the Cricket Association's weekly meeting to be held this week. However, the cricket results, Mutalo versus Tuapa, that was a draw. Hakupu lost to Avasele. Alofi versus Tamkotonga, Alofi won by 2 points. Hikutamake versus La Kepa won that game. And Vaya versus Liku, a decision is yet to be made as the game was called off because of the rain. And Makefu was on buying. Some villages may not have a game this week. A decision will be made after a meeting that will be held this week. That concludes our news bulletin for this evening. Do join us again for our next news bulletin on Thursday.